Ravens flock, what's going on? We got a couple more days left before what I think is going to be probably our biggest test so far this at this point of the season. We got this game coming up against the Detroit Lions, and this isn't the old Detroit Lions. Obviously, they're better than they've been this century. Like when you really look at it, but definitely as far as their record goes, it's the best they've been since literally 13 years ago. Like they're coming off of a 4-game winning streak. They have gotten, in my opinion, a few impressive wins so far. Like they obviously beat the Chiefs, even though the Chiefs' offense isn't really looking like everybody thought it would so far this year. They lost to the Seahawks, but they still put up 31. Then also they beat the Buccaneers just a week ago, a team that's outperforming everybody's expectations. So I still think this is a very dangerous game. We obviously can't take it lightly. I'm still expecting us to win, obviously. We're going to be playing at the bank. That's another thing to get excited about, is the fact that after going through like that gauntlet of games where we were either playing away or overseas, we now are coming back to the bank. We coming back home. Like we're going to actually have a string of games at home. I do believe that'll give us the advantage. I know some people were trying to put the idea out there that we're a better road team than home team. That's ridiculous. We're good on either side. I don't care what nobody says, away or at home. I still got faith in us. But this is definitely going to be a major test, man. As far as like their players, man, Jared Goff is playing out of his mind. David Montgomery, he's okay. I really don't think we're gonna have that much trouble bottling him up. Like he's had some good moments, obviously, but I personally think he's kind of overrated. But I'm still surprised that he's getting the most snaps considering how high they drafted Jahmyr Gibbs. I thought he would be getting like starter snaps, but I don't know, man. I'm not sure what's their reasoning over there because I don't pay them that much attention. But of course, the major key to this game is going to be us containing Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's one of my favorite receivers right now. I literally got him as my wide receiver one in fantasy football right now. He's been really one of the only consistent players on my team week after week. But unfortunately, even though I usually root for him, like we gotta try to lock him up as soon as possible. Like get that under control. Just really just stop their. If we keep their passing attack in check, I really don't think we're gonna have much to worry about in their rushing attack. They put up decent rushing numbers, respectable rushing numbers, but they also don't average a whole lot of yards per carry. I do think we'll be able to completely shut that down, and I do think pride comes into it, considering that we gave up several explosive plays last game against the Titans, a team that we also should have shut down. With Derrick Henry or not, I do believe we should have shut him down, but, obviously it didn't go that way. Like, they had a pretty good game, got off some good runs. Really just that one run, that 63-yard run, and then that 48-yard short pass that the backup running back took for 48 yards. But still, nonetheless, I think we'll probably handle their running attack well. If we disrupt their passing attack and really just bottle up Amon-Ra St. Brown, don't let Jameson Williams get going either. Obviously, he's also back in the lineup. And I'm assuming Sam Laporta, like the rookie tight end, I'm assuming he's not playing. It's not confirmed yet. They're saying he's questionable right now, but I'm just going to give the benefit of the doubt and assume he's not there. But obviously, if he was there, we would just have to just keep that in check as well. Obviously, as far as injuries, they obviously their secondary is a bit compromised. The rookie Brian Branch, who got off to a good start against the Chiefs, he obviously he got hurt and like he's coming. He's questionable right now. CJ Gardner Johnson, he's out. He's not playing. As far as our side, unfortunately, Tyus Bowser, he still ain't back yet. They got Marcus Williams listed as questionable, but again, he's playing with one arm and like 1.5 hamstrings right now, man. You just gotta let him just sit it out for right now, man. Bring him back in like a month, man. Just let him sit. But yeah, those are the only significant injuries that we really had to worry about. I think this is going to be the game of the week, just in the NFL period. Like, because this, obviously, for both of us, this is definitely going to be our biggest challenge for both teams so far this year. Is going to be their biggest challenge and our biggest challenge. This got to me. This is a must win game, especially because of the fact that we let that Steelers game slip out of our fingers and we let that Colts game slip out of our fingers against a team this talented. We got to get that win because at least amongst the Ravens flock, I definitely think it would be a statement kind of game to go out there and beat a team that is literally number one in the NFC right now. Like nobody's talking about it. Everybody's hyping up every other team like the Niners and the Eagles, which obviously they should because those are solid teams. But nobody's talking. Well, not enough people are talking about how good the Lions are right now, or really on both sides of the ball. Like obviously their offense is explosive. They averaging just under 400 yards a game. They averaging like 393 yards. But then even their defense is pretty solid. Their passing defense isn't anything special really. Like they're still giving up 242 passing yards. So I do believe as far as our offense is key, that's going to be a major part of it. But their rush defense has been like lights out. Like it's been lights out. They're only giving up 64 yards a game. But at the same time, you might have to take those numbers with a grain of salt. Because when they played the Green Bay Packers a few weeks ago, Aaron Jones, like he technically played, but again, he was coming off like the hamstring issue, so he really didn't put up his most impressive numbers. So I would take that with a grain of salt. As far as when they played the Chiefs, the Chiefs kind of struggled against them a bit. Most of the teams they played so far have struggled to run against them. But compared to all the other teams they played so far, we're gonna have the best running attack by default because obviously the threat of Lamar Jackson, even if Lamar doesn't run in the game, the threat of him running is always gonna be there. So that's gonna keep them on edge. And then we still got Gus Edwards, even though I've been saying the past couple weeks they're not giving him the ball enough. Even with Gus not putting up the best numbers the past couple weeks, I still think that's going to be a major key, especially in the red zone, especially considering we're struggling in the red zone. It's like you would think getting the ball to Gus more would be on the top of their minds, but hopefully it will be. But I think we're going to definitely put up at least 100 rushing yards against them, especially at home, regardless of how good they are against the run. They haven't seen us. Obviously, last time they seen us was back in 2021, where that was that infamous game where we should have blew them out. But just like the Steelers game a couple weeks ago, the receivers were dropping everything. Like Hollywood, he dropped like 3 passes. 2 of them should have been touchdowns. Mark Andrews dropped a touchdown. Sammy Watkins dropped a touchdown. Like it was one of those type of games. And then, of course, we still ended up getting a shot to win at the end, which of course led to Justin Tucker kicking the record-setting 66-yard field goal to win the game. But again, this is not that same Lions team. It's a similar team, but again, it's that team has gotten even better since then, and even in close games. So we can't take this lightly. As far as offensive keys, I mean, obviously we already know Lamar's the key to everything. He's been locked in for the most part this whole year. This is easily going to be one of his better years as far as how efficient he's been. And if everybody can just get on the same page with him, we easily should be able to average 40 a game. I keep saying this because it's still true. If all the receivers and tight ends and all that could lock in and get as locked in as Lamar is, there's no reason we can't blow teams out. Even a team like the Lions, we should be able to beat them pretty easily. Because with all the chips on the table, I'm putting my money on Lamar and not Jared Goff. But yeah, hopefully in this game they dial up more plays for Mark Andrews, especially in the red zone. I'd still like that. I like that trick play they did last week where Mark Andrews ended up taking the quick snap to try to get the short yardage. It didn't work last week, but I still like the fact that we did it, and I hope we do incorporate that into more games and more situations. Because I do think a play like that will probably work more often than not. Especially, I'm gonna just stick with that. I think it'll just work more often than not. I definitely in blitz situations, especially with the young guy they got, Aiden Hutchinson. I'm assuming a team like the Lions are gonna try to blitz us. That's what most teams, especially teams that aren't familiar with us, that's what most of them do. Because they believe that's one easy way to stop Lamar. And while it doesn't fully stop him, obviously it does kind of mess things up if we're not prepared. I still like that play we did last week where we just dumped off a slant route to OBJ or whoever in that situation. Like, obviously, we just keep doing that. I think we'll be fine. Ultimately, I think this game it's gonna be tough. I think it's gonna be the game of the week. It's easily gonna be our toughest game so far as opponents. I'm really excited to see how our defense handles an offense like the Lions that has the ability to be extremely explosive and put up, 30 plus on any given weekend. But at the end of the day, I still think we're gonna win this game. I think the final score is gonna be 28-24. I want us to get more than 30, but it feels like every time I keep predicting 30, they keep letting me down. So I'm hoping that I have like a reverse jinx kind of moment where I predict less than 30 and then they put up 40. So my final prediction is 28-24. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments.